Okay, so when you're naming ionic compounds with polyatomic ions, all the previous naming rules we just looked at still apply. So if you have a transition metal, you still have to put the Roman numeral. If you have a variation of the polyatomic ion, you have to include the name of whatever the variant is. So let's take a look at the first one here. So we have Fe2SO4. So SO4 is sulfate, and this is iron, right? And the 3 is crisscrossing up, like reverse crisscross, it's iron 3 from this. So iron 3 sulfate. So you can pause the video and give these next 3 a try. Just be careful for variants that you're going to see are going to come up for sure. Okay, so for the next one, we have nickel. Nickel is a of transition metal, and we have NO2. So if you look on your table here, okay, so NO2 is a variant of nitrate. And actually, we just so happen to be lucky enough that nitrite is actually directly on here. So one less oxygen, the ending goes from being 8 to becoming ite. So over here, we're going to say nickel, and actually, so pardon me, we have to put the Roman numeral. It's nickel. Oh boy. Nickel, nitrite is the same charge as nitrate, which is -1. So because there's no numbers here, this must be nickel 1 nitrite. Okay, here we have ammonium chloride. So the NH4 is a polyatomic ion. Here we have calcium, and CO4 is a variant of carbonate, which is one more oxygen. So this is calcium percarbonate. Okay, so one note to make about the polyatomic ion names. I just want to make this clear now so you can understand when you're doing your worksheets. When you're looking at these ones that have hydrogens in the front, sometimes there are multiple names. So you'll have the name and then in brackets another variant of the name. Both of these are acceptable. So if you're using HCO3 -1, you can say hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate. Same thing for any one of these. So the bracket name and the name that's not in brackets are both acceptable for nomenclature. All right, so for the next one, we're doing crisscross rules. So if you have a polyatomic ion and you have to put a subscript on the outside, you must have brackets, okay? If you do not require to put a subscript from the crisscross, you do not put brackets. So let's take a look at the first one. Magnesium, and then hydroxide is OH. Magnesium is +2, OH is -1. So here's an example. So the -1 comes down here, but the 2 is going to have to get crossed down. So when you're writing this, you would not write this, MgOH2. What this is showing is only 2 hydrogens. You must have the brackets so that you're saying it's not 2 hydrogens, it's 2 hydroxides, which is the OH. If you're able to reduce the subscripts, you still want to reduce to the lowest common multiples, right? The lowest common terms. So give these next 3 a try. Calcium phosphate, aluminum phosphate, and then ammonium sulfide. Okay, so here we have calcium and we have phosphate. Calcium is +2, phosphate is -3. So you should have here Ca3, PO4, 2. You must have the brackets around the PO4. Aluminum phosphate, So we have aluminum and phosphate. Aluminum is +3, phosphate is -3. So actually those will end up canceling. So you do not put brackets for this one in particular. Ammonium is NH4 and sulfur is just S. So we have -2, +1. The 2 crisscrosses as well does the 1. So you should have bracket NH4 with the 2 and then the sulfur with the 1 that we don't write in.